Sebastian here, curator of the Sonic Symphonic podcast, composer of the Kalasin series of albums, and the soon-to-be-released Spitting Out Flies. More information coming on this channel soon about that. But now we're going to talk about a band that was formed in 2017 as a hard rock band. Back in 2019, they were supposed to release what would have been our debut EP, put my teeth back in. However, they say life got in the way, and that didn't happen. But in 2020, they came out on the scene with a debut album, 11-track piece called Art of Betrayal, which was more in the sort of like hard rock alternative metal category. And when I say sort of hard rock alternative, they say they've got fusions of new metal, hard rock metalcore, and sort of modern metal in sort of one package. They said in the 2000 sort of era they didn't have a sort of professional setup, not the greatest production quality, and that's absolutely fine. I think it's important to maybe sort of cut your first release and then look to make your second one and an improvement on that. And of course, the feedback that you get from putting something out kind of inspires you to be better, to sound better, to invest more. I think that's all part of the process. I have listened to the first album, and I received that positively. But I will talk about that a little bit more after playing the single, which we're going to come on to just shortly. So fast forward to 2021, they started writing and planning the next album, which has yet to be announced, and they've been able to improve overall on the whole thing, on the guitars, vocals, mixing, and productions, thus giving a more sort of professional, better quality sound. Okay, so they've got all the usual sort of Spotify links and everything that I will put below. But for now, let's get into the music. This is a single that was released in December, I think in the back end of December, called Deception.
I'm lying motionless in the dark. I can't seem to find the way out. I'm trying, but I just fall apart. Why can't I figure it out? It's just a matter of my soul. It's wandering of my soul. I'm meant to fade and can't I know I'm lost everything, it's got a hold on me. It's taken over and it won't let me be. Wandering no direction, I've fallen to my own deception.
So, Deception. Unclear as whether this is a single that's appearing on the forthcoming album, but if this is an indicator of the kind of stuff that they'll be producing, well, I think it's going to be a bloody good listen. And certainly in terms of production style, you know, you're absolutely ready to release an album. You know, as per the sort of the virtues that you've subscribed to, and the new sort of like, yeah, things you've been learning and the habits you've been forming and the investment you've been putting into production quality. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that sound at all. It's very nice and punchy, huge, big, thick, punchy bass that was uncluttered and identifiable, and lots of space there for the vocals. You had that dreamy kind of verse type of style, and you know, and then sort of bounce into that sort of like that harsh, you know, heavier, angsty vocals. All of that sounded EQ'd perfectly in the mix, and yeah, there's I couldn't fault anything there in the treatment of this Deception from a mixing point of view. Not that I'm a master in this field, and I'm on my own learning journey, so I know exactly what it's like. But yeah, absolutely cool single. I really enjoyed that guitar riff on the verse. You know, there's some octave playing there. That was a really nice groove, and overall, it's just, yeah, it's not my typical. I mean, look behind me. I'm a bit gothic and dark and a bit, you know, crazy extreme in my metal tastes, but no, this is something I would have on my playlist in the background whilst kind of, you know, tinkering around with my life admin, and I found it good. What I also did find is I did listen to some of the more higher played tracks from the first album, and one that caught my attention was a song called Break, and I'd like to comment that is a really nice composition. It has lots and lots of dynamics going on in it, and really kind of signals, you know, the capabilities of this band and its potential. And they, you know, they confess themselves that you know, production perhaps could have been sort of, you know, better, as that's something that they focused on and improved on. And in Break, for example, you know, you had sort of maybe some slightly overly echoey vocals, you know, that didn't really seem sort of cohesively attached to the mix. Some of the bass was either a bit too much or a bit lacking in some parts, certainly to my ears. The guitars were largely sort of didn't feel sort of treated, and they had that sort of, you know, very sort of raw sort of like hiss that kind of just sort of becomes mud when you mix it all together. And I mean no detriment to the music, and I mean no detriment and in actual to the treatment of the mix, you know, on a first, you know, self-released production. But what I am saying, or what I am alluding to, is that this band have come on miles. And you know, there's nothing wrong with perhaps maybe sort of, depending on the quality of the source material, of maybe kind of revisiting some of those tracks, because I'd love to hear, you know, what your today knowledge would bring back to your previous releases. Maybe when you've got some downtime in your schedule, you know, put up a re-edit, you know, because I really enjoyed a number of those tracks, and a number of them were actually sort of heavier in their style than Deception. So I'd like to know when the next album's coming out. I'd like to be kind of, I'm curious enough to want that, and want that announcement to come my way. And I certainly hope that you know, it's as heavy as the first album. And I can't wait to hear more, really. So if this has been your bag, and I will say it's been a pleasant listen for me also, then, you know, there's links and stuff below, and yeah, support these alternative metalers, and the stuff that they produce, and get them some more sort of followers, likes, subscribes, good quality music, as always. So thank you very much.